Hi, in this tutorial we'll create a building generator from image. So we will start from this image and at the final we'll have a building generator. Also at the end we'll export this building into Unreal Engine 5. This image and the Houdini project files you can find in my Gumroad, link you can find in description. Let's get started. So let's start with Geo node. Let's rename to the building generator, and inside we will add the grid node. Next we will change the size of the grid node. So let's look at our image. This is the image which we will use in this tutorial. In description you can find the link to this image and these textures also. We will insert these values. This is the resolution of the image here in the size of our grid. So let's change the resolution. Okay, we have this. Also from the settings I changed the size of the wires. So for our building these rows and columns will create from the reference. So let's clean this and let's change the orientation. We do this to get the same proportion with our image. Let's add the UV project. Next we'll add the UV quick shade, and here we'll select our image. A link to the image you can find in the description. So here we have the image. Next we will cut our plane and we'll cut the floors. So we will start from here, we'll cut this, and the next floors, next 4 or 5 floors, we will cut in this way. This here we'll place a line here, 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 and same with the next floors. And also we'll create end columns in this way, for example. So let's start to create the floors. We'll do this with PolySplit node. Now we will select here edge loop, and let's cut here this floor. First floor we'll exclude, so we'll start from here. Let's add another PolySplit node. Let's select edge loop and we will cut here. Let's add another PolySplit node, and here also we add one cut, and the next edge loop. I copied that and I will paste. So now I copy and paste. So let's add the next PolySplit. So we'll do that for the next 4 floors. So we have the here first floor, and this is the second floor. Now we'll do the same operation for all rows which we'll create now. Let's look. We have 1, 2, 3. So let's finish this floor now. So this is the last floor. Let's make this. Okay, we create this, so this will delete. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 floors. Next, let's create the columns. We'll same, we will add the PolySplit, edge loop, and let's add the here. Edge loop, and here we align with our reference. Next, we'll do that for all columns. And this is the last column. Okay, we have this. Now we will delete this part. So we'll delete first floor. So first floor is this. We'll delete this part and this part. We'll keep just we'll keep only this section, and after that we will create some groups. So let's continue. Now we'll select this, so we'll select this, and let's add the blast node. Okay, we have deleted this, and we'll select add the blast node. Okay, we have this. Now we will select these parts. So let's select them, and after that we'll extrude. We select all these parts, all rows. So let's select okay, we have selected them. Let's add PolyExtrude, and we'll extrude them. So let's add 20 maybe. Okay, let's leave 20. Next we'll select the columns. So let's start to select this. Let's move to the next column. So now we'll add the, for the distance, let's leave the 35 and let's move next. Now we will group these sides. We'll group these sides, and after that we'll create UVs. So let's start. Let's add the group node. Let's rename to the side 1. Here let's add 20. Now let's duplicate this node. Here we select the union, and here we'll add the -1. So we have these parts, these sides grouped. Next, let's add the split node. Let's select here side 1. Here we'll add the UV flatten node. Next, let's add the UV layout. And quick shade node. UV quick shade node. So we will select one texture. Let's select. We can add here UV transform. And we can change the scale of the UV. Next, let's add the merge node, and we'll merge this with our building. So we have this result. Also, we'll create with these sides. So we'll group them, and after that we'll create UVs. So let's start. Let's copy this part. Here let's change to side 2. Same here. And here 1, here 0, and here -1, and here 0. For split, we'll select this group, side number 2. And for the quick shade node, let's select another image. Let's select this. Again, we merge this. Let's add the output node. And we'll select all nodes. and we will click to the create sub network. So at the moment we have this. Let's save. So at the moment we have these blocks, and next we'll work with each block individually. So we'll work with this part, with this part. So we'll split them in the individual blocks, and we'll work with this. Now we will add the split node. Let's click here on this arrow, and we will select on this part. So let's select this. Okay, let's hit enter. This block will use as reference. So let's add the match size, and we will put this in the center of this. Next, let's add the bounding box, and we will create a simple box from this. Next we will assemble that, and let's stop for now here. We will add a null node, and let's rename to while box. Okay, also let's add the color. So let's continue with this part. Let's add a null node. Here we have our well. Let's rename to the well. This will be our well. From here we'll take the windows and this part of the well. Let's add the split node. Okay, we'll take this part. So let's select this. We need just this and this part. So this will be a modular system, so we have this and this. For the next we'll take this part and this. So we have that. Let's hit enter. Now we'll move this part to the center of the coordinates, which is here. So we'll add the match size node. Next, so we'll add lines here, 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 and after that we will extrude these parts. So for all these elements we will add the lines, and after that we'll extrude them. Let's move here. So let's add the PolySplit node. Let's select edge loop. Let's activate the editing, and I will create a line here. Let's add another PolySplit. Select edge loop, and here we make this. Let's select this PolySplit, and we'll create a subnetwork. Let's dive inside. Here we'll continue with PolySplit node, and we'll add the detail to our windows. Let's continue. And this is final line here. So now let's select and we will extrude these faces. So let's select. Okay, we have selected, and now let's add the PolyExtrude. So let's add here -4. Let's select only this column, and let's add the PolyExtrude. Let's leave here 10. Okay. And now we will select these parts and also we'll extrude them. Here let's add the null node and we'll rename to Windows. So we have this at the moment. Let's move next. Let's add here null node. So let's move to the next element. We can select this. Let's select this part. So we'll select this. And this. So we have this selected. Let's add the PolySplit node. So we see. Let's include and this part. Okay. Now we will do the same. So let's add the PolySplit node. Let's add first the match size node and we will move this to the center. So we have this here. Next Next, let's add the PolySplit node. Let's create a subnetwork, and here we'll cut our geometry. We'll select edge loop, and we'll do the same as I did in the previous element. So let's add PolySplit, edge loop, and we will cut our geometry. Again, PolySplit. And I will move to this part now. Next, let's select and extrude the windows and here, this part. Let's add PolyExtrude, and we'll extrude this element. Next, we'll select the windows and we'll extrude them. Let's add a PolyExtrude node, and here -4. Okay. Let's add a null node, Windows number 2, and we move next to the another element we'll create. Let's select this. So here we'll add the PolySplit node. We'll click on this arrow and let's select this part, and from here we'll select this. Let's hit enter. Now we will add the match size, and we'll move this to the center. Let's add PolySplit node, edge loop, up, and let's create a subnetwork, and we'll dive inside. So let's start. Okay, we finish and with that. So now let's select the windows and we'll extrude them. Let's add PolyExtrude and here -4. Next we select this column and let's add PolyExtrude and here 10. And the next we select these elements and again we'll extrude them. Let's go outside of the subnetwork and we'll add a null node. Let's add a null node here. Let's create 2 more elements to have a variety. Next, let's add the merge node, and we will combine these blocks. So we have here all blocks, and before merge node, let's add the attribute create, and here we will create the attribute variant. Type we will select integer, and let's copy this and we'll paste here. Here value 1. Let's again copy and paste here to the next windows. Next value. Here also we'll change the value, and to the our last windows let's add the 4. So we have 5 types of windows, 5 variations. Next, let's add the null node, and let's rename to the building windows. And before we change the size for our windows, let's move here to the well box. So let's add here a transform node. Okay, we have the transform node. Let's set the uniform scale to 0.10, and we see that our windows also is big, have 25 meters. So again, let's decrease the size. So now it's around 4 meters. Okay, we have this. Next, let's add the attribute create, and we will create the normal attribute. And here let's add 1, and let's transform our box to the packed geometry. So now we have just 1 point. So for this point we set the normals, and this will help us to place the building's windows correctly on the walls. Let's change the size of our building windows. It's very big now. So we will copy these transform nodes and we'll paste here. Let's see. It's practically the same size, but after scatter them on the points, we'll look at the size and maybe we'll adjust this size. Okay, now we'll create the building. So we'll start with a line node. So let's add the line node. Next, let's add the resample node. Length, let's set 3. Let's add the copy to points. And let's add the object merge, and here in the object merge we will drag and drop our well. Okay, let's see what we have. Length 3. Let's eliminate this gap between our blocks, so we will do that by increasing the size of our blocks. So here let's increase here and here a little bit. Let's see if our blocks it's intersecting. Let's 7. Okay, now it's perfect match. Let's leave at the 6. Okay, let's leave a small gap. Now we will let's create another line node. Next, let's add the attribute randomize, and we will create the attribute control. We'll rename the attribute to the control. Next, let's set dimension to 1, minimum value 1 and maximum value 10. With this attribute we will control the height, so minimum value will be 1 and maximum value 10. Next, let's add the null node. Let's rename to the height. Okay, we rename it to the height. So for our attribute, let's set the attribute class to the detail. So if you look here at the detail, we have our attribute. Next, we'll keep this attribute and we'll promote here in the parameter interface. So let's select edit parameter interface. Let's add the integer value. Let's rename to the height. Range we'll set from 1 to 10, but we'll keep unlocked. So let's apply. So first we need to add the detail. Next we'll indicate our node. Its attribute randomize. Next we need the attribute control, and here we add the index 0, and we have our value. It's 2 because we added the integer and not float, and this we need an integer value to set up the height. So next we'll copy this value. Let's copy parameter and we'll insert to the length. So we'll multiply this value with the height attribute. So now we have 6. Let's look at our well. Now from the attribute randomize we will change the seed, and we see that height is changing. Next let's add another null node and we'll rename to the control. Let's mark with red. We'll edit the parameter interface. Let's add the float parameter. Let's rename to the control. So let's leave from the 1 to the 10,000. Let's accept this. So we'll copy this parameter and in the attribute randomize we'll add with relative reference. Now when we change this, we see that height of our building is changing. Okay, if we want we can increase this. Next let's add a line node. For this line we'll change the direction, here 1 and here 0. Next we'll add the resample node, and on the length we'll set the 5. Next let's add the copied points, and we'll connect this part here. Okay, let's duplicate this and we'll rename to the length. Let's move to the attribute randomize, and here for the minimum value let's set the 5, and here 35. And for the seed, let's change the start value. Let's add the 5. Here also we need to change the attribute randomize name. And now here we have this value. Let's copy this and we will paste here the 5 multiply with our copied parameter. We see we have that intersection. So to eliminate this, we'll create a box node and we'll change the size, height 3 and length to the 5. Next, let's add the match size node. And let's connect so in the second input we connect our box, and in the first input we connect the windows. So let's look here. Now we will match the size, scale to fit, and we'll disable uniform scale, and also we'll disable the scale X. So now our blocks are placed correctly. Let's try to change. Okay, let's add the transform node and we'll rotate on the x-axis. Next, we'll add the add node and we'll deactivate the geometry and we'll leave just only points. Next, let's add the adjust integer node, and here we select pattern type random and the max value 4, because here I have 4 variants. If you have more or less, you need to add this value. Let's add the copied points. Object merge, and here in the object merge we'll drag and drop our building. This is the front. Here for piece attribute, let's select the variant and let's change the size for the hour. We'll copy match size and box node and we'll paste here. So we have perfectly aligned the buildings. So we can slightly increase or decrease the size to avoid these gaps. Okay. Let's move to the next element, and we'll create next this part. From this we'll keep this. Let's add the transform node. And we will rotate in this part at 19 degree. Next, let's add the copy to points. Let's align add and resample node. For the line length, let's leave 5, here 1 and here 0. We change the direction. Resample also 5. Okay. Now let's create from here another group of these nodes. Next, here let's change the values. It will be from 0 to 5, and here we'll change the attribute randomize 3. Now we will copy this and we'll multiply with 5. Okay. Now we will connect at the copy points. Next, match this part. At the corner here. So now we have the intersection, but we'll fix that with the match size node. We'll connect in the second input and in the first input this. Here we'll select minimum. For justify Z, maximum to minimum. Next, we will merge this with this. And we'll connect to the add node. Let's make more space here, and we'll look at our corner building. Let's try to change the value. Seed. Let's change the seed, and from here adjust integer. We can create this or this. Let's move to create the opposite sides. So for this, let's add another transform node. We'll rotate them. We'll rotate this well, and After that, let's add a match size node. And in the first input we connect our transform node. In the second input we connect this well, and let's set up the transform node maximum. For justify X and justify Z we'll set the minimum and to maximum. We'll connect to the merge node, and we have this. Now this part let's create in the opposite side. From here we'll add the transform node again. We'll rotate. And we'll add the match size node. We'll align this part to our building. So in the first input we'll connect our transform, and in second input we'll connect this well, for example. And let's set up the match size node. Justify X maximum and justify Z minimum and maximum. Okay, let's connect to the merge node, and we have the building. Let's move next. Here we'll add the null node. Let's rename to the walls. Next we'll create the roof. So let's add grid node. Rows, columns will set to pure. Let's add the match size node. For match size node we'll set minimum, maximum. Next, scale to fit, and we'll deactivate scale Y. Next we'll add the lot subdivision. Let's change the settings. Iteration 7 let's leave, and we'll change the seed. Okay, let's add the group by measure. And here let's add 0.06. Okay, now we will add the measure node, and we'll activate the bake visualized range. So now maximum value is 1 and the minimum value is 0. Let's add PolyExtrude, and here we will select the distance 1, group we'll select group 1, and the local control distance scale, let's add here area. Next we'll create UVs, we'll generate UVs for this. Let's add UV flatten node. Next UV quick shade. And from resources, let's select our textures. So I will select this. Next, let's add the merge node. Let's add a null node and we'll rename this into roof. So now we have this. Now here let's add the null node, and this will be building 1. So we'll create next part of the buildings, next shapes. So let's select these nodes and we will copy them. We will duplicate this and we will change here the height to the next and here we'll add 0 2 and let's change here the attribute randomize. Here it's 4 and here it's 6 and let's change the seed and here. We will copy that, copy parameter and paste relative reference. Here also let's copy parameter and paste relative reference. Copy and here relative reference. Next we'll create different shapes with help of this building. So let's add the match size. We'll create first shape. Let's add the match size. And for X we'll select minimum. Here also minimum. And we'll add the mirror node. Let's add the null node, and we'll rename to the shape. Next, let's add the match size node, and we'll connect here. Let's duplicate the match size node, and we'll add the object merge. And here in the object merge, we will drag and drop wells, and we'll connect here. Next, let's merge these objects. So for this we'll select minimum, and for this we'll select maximum. Now we will add the match size. We'll add here a match size, and here select minimum and here maximum, and we'll connect this here. So we will add again match size. Here we select minimum. We'll add the transform node, and we'll rotate this. Add the merge node, and we'll combine this. And let's create one more shape. From here we'll add the transform node. We'll rotate this, and we'll copy, duplicate this transform node, and here we add minus. Let's add the merge node, and let's add the match size node. Here we'll connect our geometry, and here this. Now let's set up the match size node, and here we'll select the minimum, and here maximum, and -10. Let's add the merge node. We'll combine this part with this part, so we have this shape. Let's add the null node at the end. Now we'll add a switch node, and we'll connect all these shapes. Next, let's duplicate one this. We will add the -0.5 to 3. Here we'll change the seed. Copy this, and we'll paste here, paste relative reference. Here let's add here 7, Okay. Next, let's make another type of building. So this will be building number 2. And for this also we'll copy this part and we'll paste here. Let's change the maximum and minimum value. For this, here we add 3 and here 7. We'll change the seed. Here also let's change the seed value is 1, maximum is 9. Here minimum is 0 and maximum is 2. Here we'll change attribute randomize 10, 9 and 8. Okay, so it's perfect. And here let's create a group and let's rename to walls. Now we will split this. Okay, let's try to change the height. So here minimum will be 0 and maximum will be 2. Let's see now. Let's set to 1. Okay, we'll set to 1. Let's delete this. Also we can delete a group node, and from here we'll add the mirror node. Here we'll set 1 and here 0. Let's merge this. So let's add the match size node, and here minimum, here none, and here none. But the roof will connect also. Obtain this. Next, let's add the match size node, duplicate and merge node, combine here, and let's set up the first match size node. Here minimum, minimum, and here minimum, maximum. We'll add again match size node, and here we'll add the object merge, in the object merge we'll add the pulse match size, and here we'll set minimum. Let's add the null node. All these buildings let's combine in the merge node. And we'll look what we have and we'll set up this. So we need to move this. Let's add the match size node, and for this parameter we set up minimum, and this building let's move let's add again match size, and we'll move all building here. Also we'll make this more larger, so let's try to add here. Let's change. Four or five. Let's add 5. Okay, this works. This also works. For this building number 1, let's set up the height to the minimum from 3. Okay. This, let's set up this minimum, okay, and justify Z center. Maximum here, no, minimum, maximum. Okay, let's add here. We'll add our final building, and it will be more easy to set up. Here maximum and here minimum. Let's change this seed. $25. Okay. Looks very good. So now we will, so let's create a bound. Here let's set up 10. We'll add the lattice. In the first input we'll select add our buildings, second our bound, and here let's add mountain node and the second mountain. Here let's also will add 10. Okay, now we'll set up the mountain node. Next, let's add match size node, and we'll export this. So we have finished this part. Next, let's export, and we'll try to import in Unreal to see how it's working in Unreal. Let's open the Unreal Engine. So let's import our building. So we have imported the building. Here. Great job, you finished the building generator from image tutorial. If you like it, please like, subscribe and hit the bell for more videos. Share your work in the comments below, and see you next time.